A century and a half of historic battles have gone before, and Mike Blair makes a total of 7 changes to his starting 15 from last week at Scotstoun. Scotland international quartet of Sam Skinner, Luke Crosby, Blair Kinghorn and Mark Bennett all return as try scorer Conor Boyle drops to the bench. Henry Pyrgos starts against his old team with James Lang moving one inside to inside centre. And there's also a late change. Wes Goosen, as he did last week, is a late withdrawal, so Harry Patterson starts at full back. Franco Smith was pretty satisfied. He makes just 2 alterations, but the pack remains untouched. Lucio Sordoni starts again after not having been named originally in the 23 for round 10. Last week's player of the match, Richie Gray, is in his usual spot in the boiler room, bolstered by the dominant back row of Matt Fagerson, Sione Bailanu and Jack Dempsey. The 2 switches come at scrum half and full back, where Ali Price and Ollie Smith both start. Kyle Steyn once again skippers the Glasgow Warriors. Well, the BKT United Rugby Championship locks its sights on part 2 of the 1872 Cup. That is what these 2 sides are playing for. It will be tense, but a spectacular occasion at the National Stadium. Glasgow Warriors with a 6-point advantage to protect, but also on their minds will be the vital URC points in what is such a tightly contested mid-division. A bumper crowd at BT Murrayfield as these 2 lock horns once again. The table can barely separate these 2. All the niggles and battles of last week will certainly be in the backs of the players' minds. Glasgow Warriors arrive with wind in their sails and that 6-point advantage on their backs as they look to tick off another victory on the current run, which stretched to 4 last week. And they are back here a fortnight on from their European victory over Perpignan, so they got a taste of what it's like to sample this grand stage, but still Franco Smith demands more from his side. Mike Blair's men have now lost 3 in the bounce in the URC and have dropped out of the top half. It is vital that they get back to winning ways. The narrow defeat at Scotstoun certainly keeps them in the hunt for silverware tonight, but they will look to reclaim the trophy and to reclaim a spot in those playoff places. Well, these nights can be very special indeed. Emiliano Buffelli signed a new contract this week, the top point scorer in international rugby for 2022. And Sam Grove-White is in charge of the big contest. Memories will be created tonight that can make careers. To beat those closest to you just matters that little bit more. It was abrasive at Scotstoun, competitive to the core, and more awaits this evening. Christmas belonged to Glasgow Warriors tonight. They put their 6-point advantage on the line as the 1872 Cup will be decided here at BT Murrayfield. A night when new stories will be born and legends created.
Edinburgh, use it.
The latest in a 150-year-old tale between Edinburgh and Glasgow. And the first high kick chase to be contested. There's advantage coming here for Glasgow as that one is knocked forward. So in the opening seconds we will get the first scrummage between these 2.
That was one of the things we spoke about in the lead up to this game, the ability that Henry Pyrgos has got, the experience around the box kick, putting this Glasgow back 3 under pressure. Naturally the position on the field there, they were going to kick that man in shot.
So slow, hold the pressure.
Who do you think held the advantage in the scrum last week?
Fine.
Well, if you go by the stats, it was 100% apiece. There wasn't many scrums last week, to be fair, considering the weather conditions were so poor. But you see that man, you talk about experience, WP now, played with me.
I know Mike Blair was disappointed with the scrum last week, and I think you definitely assume
they've got the strong hand. But that man in picture, actually, Jamie Batty, for me, you don't often see looseheads play, or anyone in the front row play a full game. He stayed in for 80. It was a big part of why that scrum was so good last week.
Former Edinburgh man in direct competition with WP Nell. Up goes the scrum, and it will just be a reset.
I knew this was going to happen. I knew we were going to have a bit of time to talk. It always happens.
There's no go forward.
You talk about the competition and the matchups. You know, you've got Jamie Batty, WP now.
Square.
Matching up in
Nice
Scotland camp, playing with each other.
Square.
Initially, the scrum was really set, really stable. Normally you see the ball. The referee, Sangrove White, wanted the ball in and out. But that's one of the frustrations. I quite like scrummaging when I played, John, but watching it now, commentating on it, there's always resets in these games.
So you assume, from a Glasgow point of view, they would want that ball in a way. Are they going to tap here? Are they going to go for a scrum? This will tell us a lot about their mindset. If they go for a scrum here, the big thing about how much confidence they've taken. Well, there we go. From that competition last week.
The crowd didn't want it.
You did.
I did. He did, I'm sure.
What are the chances of an Edinburgh penalty now?
Well, I don't think we'll see a reset. I think the referee knows that the 25,000 in here, not that that matters, that influences his decision, but you look at the new potential laws that are coming into speed the game up, some of the discussions happening around the scrum as well. It does take a while.
Well, the scrum was awarded at 35 seconds.
There you go.
So we've almost lost 3 minutes of this game, and Sam Grove White deciding enough is enough, and the first penalty of the night goes the way of the visiting side, the Glasgow Warriors.
Take the scrum. Please don't. But you just see Jamie Batty and the Glasgow pack just get that shove on, don't they? And you just see well, I'm kind of reading the sign language of the referee there, that it wasn't straight from Edinburgh, and it was going round Bowen Venter and wheeling it.
This could have happened last week. The scrums were a bit of a mess, and the referee handled it quite well last week, Ben Blaine. The ball was at the back, almost insisting that respective scrum halves get the ball away and play.
Fraser Brown to Richie Gray, the tried and tested route for secure line-out ball for the Glasgow Warriors. And now with Brown at the back, trying to get this maul going now. It comes out for the backs, and Sione Tuipulotu still going. Eventually just brought down 4 meters short of the Edinburgh line. Jack Dempsey, who powered through the tackle of Chris Dean. That's Scotstoun to score Glasgow Warriors' only try. Jordan sends it out a little wider for Tuipulotu. Ali Price back in at scrum half ahead of George Horne. And Gray, who was player of the match last week, carries on. It's out from Dempsey to Manjesi, and now Kyle Stein steps, gets the fen, gets it down. Oh, and what a start for the Glasgow Warriors. The skipper leads by example. Glasgow blast out of the blocks. 5 minutes in, Kyle Stein gets the opening score for the Glasgow Warriors.
It's a superb finish, and actually not that dissimilar to what we saw last week for the Jack Dempsey try. We saw this time Richie Gray carrying well into wide channels. How good's he been in the opening exchange? But just the continuity on the ball, that ability to regenerate. We see the Richie Gray carry here. Gets pretty quick ball, lands forwards importantly. Good clear up, balls on a plate for Ali Price. And then it's about deception and accuracy. Good pass by Tom Jordan. Manjesi does the right thing. That's weak tackling. There's 3 very poor tackles there. They'll be disappointed with that.
The power, the accuracy, you mentioned it there, John, but also the ability to get the ball in the hands of their best ball carriers. We saw Sione Tuipulotu, Jack Dempsey, Richie Gray getting the hands through into the most powerful players' hands, and it's good to see him back from a Glasgow and a Scotland perspective as well. But it's a powerful start for Glasgow, poor start for Edinburgh.
And here's Tom Jordan, who kicked a couple of key penalties in the second half last week, and that one sails through the post. A lovely strike from the 24-year-old from Auckland, and it is the full 7-pointer.
We saw that huge carry from Tuipulotu off the line, off the back of that maul.
we've seen last week some potentially, well, not potentially, some very poor tackling, in particular in the wider channels. I dare say Glasgow will be licking their lips here.
Glasgow's approach to go wide, they're more expansive than any other team in Europe, and it has paid dividends once again as Kyle Steyn crosses the whitewash. That's a great take by Sebastian Cancellieri over on the right wing. Now Sordoni. Great, helps it back to Jordan, and it's going to be Stafford McDowell. Now Blair Kinghorn, first touch for him, and to try and get Edinburgh going. He was out last week with back spasms. Luke Crosby. Connor Boyle had a fine game in the open side last week, scored the try for Edinburgh. He's top of many of the stats, but Crosby, Scotland international, back. And here's Gilchrist.
This is what we saw Edinburgh doing last week, and we spoke about pre-match, going back up the blind side, and then you're almost against a full wall of Glasgow defenders. The hardest place to attack is from the touchline.
And you look as well, Glasgow not putting anyone in the breakdown, forcing that kick from Kinghorn.
Oh, and it causes the confusion for Cancellieri. And it gets Edinburgh possession back and inside the 22. Only Leinster have more entries into opposition 22 in the URC than Edinburgh. There's Jamie Ritchie, the co-captain, takes them a little further, and Crosby heavily involved in this passage of play. Kinghorn short to Boan Venter, plays ahead of Pierre Schoeman, the big fans' favourite for Edinburgh. He is on the bench this evening. Kinghorn now, an option out wide is Ritchie once again, but he's held up and driven back in the tackle by Tui Pelotu. Now Pyrgos does go blind. It's Kinghorn to respond for Edinburgh. The flag does go up, and very quickly between Holly Davidson and Sam Grove-White, they make their decision that Blair Kinghorn did not get that down.
Yeah, it was a quick decision as well, just through the hands. We've seen some of these wonder finishes, haven't we? We know Blair Kinghorn's got it in him. Veolanu, very good tackle just to get him. Oh, he's not far away.
Probably the last person you want tackling you there.
How'd you get round him?
You got one of the fastest men on the pitch trying, but just ran out of space. But good enterprise by Edinburgh there, playing in the right areas. I'd like to see them stop going up the blind sides, play to where their strengths are.
Good line out from Glasgow going through Gray, but the charge down on Price is by Skinner. And again, the pinball creates the confusion, and Gilchrist looks to go. Edinburgh trying to respond. Glasgow were the team with the quick start, but now it's Edinburgh, and Skinner sends it short to Bill Mata. Now Ritchie gets some support, heading for the post. And Edinburgh do get over, and it's Jamie Ritchie. Skipper follows skipper. And what a start. It's not been the abrasive, competitive output that we had last time. Excellent. 2 tries in the opening exchanges, and Edinburgh hits straight back.
Yeah, sorry, Rory. Excellent response by Edinburgh. Sam Skinner on the left foot of Ali Price with that bouncing ball. Jason doesn't dive on it, does he? It's just first to the ball. Luke Crosby spoke about it before the game, how important he's been for Edinburgh, and just patience around the ball. And Jamie Ritchie dots it down just by the bottom of the post.
You see, Manjesi's almost thinking, if I pick this up, I'm offside now. But I think he's got to pick that ball up under the post, take the penalty there, and get away. But if you look at the way Glasgow set up, they didn't have a blocker. Ali Price maybe could have taken his time, got an extra blocker in. So the Scrum aims to kick over the top of that blocker. And it's just smart. You always attack towards the post. Obviously, you can't be in front of the post as a defender, so keep working towards the post. Try and pick off an isolated defender.
Yeah, Rory, hard to defend that, the pick and go. Got Sione Veolanu, one of the most powerful men in the URC. struggling to stop the try.
Well, there's Lucio Sordoni, who's heading off for a head injury assessment, replaced by Simon Bergen, former Edinburgh man. Jamie Ritchie, the Scotland captain, the Edinburgh co-captain, gets the scores back level, and we're back to a 6-point deficit in the race for the 1872 Cup. Glasgow leading the way.
Just seen Simon Bergen come on.
No,
Jim, you were a sub a lot. How hard is it to come on this early in a game?
They call them finishers, mate.
That'll be your mark, Edinburgh.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Especially when you come on cold. Obviously, with all the HIA protocols now, you're well aware that that can happen quite quickly.
It's quickly taken at the front from Brown's short line out, and Cancellieri coming off his line. Tui Pelotu. And Jordan managed to escape the attempted tackle of Mark Bennett. There's Bergen with his first involvement off the bench. Price with a tester for Harry Patterson. He's up to the task. Quickly on him was Kyle Steyn.
So we're going to see Edinburgh shape the kick here, but that's good maturity by Glasgow. They played a three-phase start to move, got caught behind the gain line, just then create the shape, build the kick, try and put the pressure back on instead of overplaying in that key middle third.
And Pyrgos was so accurate with those box kicks. It was well taken by Tom Jordan. He initially just looked to have overrun it slightly. Gray finds Batty. Manjesi. And again, the Warriors have to scramble through. Ollie Smith.
You've backed off too, don't do that.
Matt Fagerson.
Use it. Back now, go back.
Price. Ritchie's up there, so too Buffelli, gets that tap back to Bill Mata, who finds a hole, beats a tackle, still big Bill Mata into the 22.
Out.
Skinner now looking to try to protect that ball. There's advantage coming for Edinburgh, who have responded so well.
Because your ball was slow, but he's side entry.
Yes, against Ollie Smith. I think it is for side entry. Manages to get on ball.
So you had a counter
It's that kick, isn't it? It's just them, the crumbs, the 50-50s. Bill Mata comes away with it and powers through. Brilliant tackle, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you owed him one from last week. I actually thought Edinburgh come in and counter it really well. And someone you see there, Sam Skinner, he could have been penalised right there for going off his feet and sealing. So it's a marginal call. Ollie Smith comes in the side. You could have seen that go either way, but so often you'll see the referees rewarding positive attacking play, and he was obviously the man in picture, was a big part of that.
Emiliano Buffelli, so clear with where he wants his future to be in the Scottish capital. A 2-year deal this week for the Argentine international, slots the extra 3 through, and Edinburgh leads.
Interesting seeing the stats on Emiliano Buffelli. Something like 56% off the boot for Edinburgh, which is crazy when you think about his international kicking stats, but an easy 3, an important 3 to take him into the lead.
It's Crosby. Edinburgh's goal-kicking stats have been down across the board all season. And actually it was those 2 early penalties that were missed by Emiliano Buffelli at Scotstoun, which turned out as costly in the end last week. It's quite so good from the tee.
Yeah, sorry Roy, just interestingly, they put Richie Gray for the charge down. The last one he didn't charge down, but he made such a good sprint to get back, actually shielding the Edinburgh chasers. Slightly different tactic from Glasgow to Edinburgh.
And that one's on the money again.
High hanging kick from Pyrgos that was well claimed. Fagerson
Price now. Tui Pelotu. Fraser Brown hanging around outside, and the ball goes loose but backwards. And one for Ali Price to try and buy as much time as possible for those to come and support him. Matt Fagerson with another carry. And between Fagerson, Dempsey and Vailanu, they go through so many carries. That Glasgow back row. Jordan finds Ritchie, and the blindside flanker sends the kick back to Glasgow's fly half.
Wait.
There's Pyrgos to Patterson, who again, a late call up to the starting lineup.
Top 9.
Now Smith.
Back and inside.
Kinghorne.
Wait.
From inside his
Keep
own
waiting.
22. It's the bounce, but it is fielded by Ali Price. A bit of a kick exchange going on to see who can find an advantage. This time it's Pyrgos. He's found space, and that one is just going to bounce on and on, but not all the way. Tapped down by Tom Jordan.
And I'd say with the new rules, with that resulting in a kick under the post, that's probably a win for Glasgow.
Goal line drop it. You kicked it. He touched it down.
Edinburgh, excuse me.
You were close. Just the hands passed.
Not much to say. A lot of kicking, like you mentioned, just feeling each other out. Especially in this middle third where there's a bit of box kicking. Once you get in that kicking duel, it's who flinches first.
Kinghorne takes, and Mata, the last man back, to get a head of steam up into the tackle. Well, Sione Vailanu. Now Lang, who chips that one through. He's got Van der Merwe as a chaser, and carried over.
Back, Scrum.
That's a good kick, obviously, because it's a scrum to Edinburgh now.
That's your favourite kick?
Well, in terms of kicking, you know, like sometimes even when you hear or you see the boot going to ball, the crowd sometimes, it's a bit of a lull, isn't it? But it's a really good attacking kick, that, right on the money. Brilliant outcome for Edinburgh now, if they can get their scrum right. Fantastic area to attack from. You've got Bill Matter at the base at number 8.
I think Jamie Lang's done really well to identify the fact that Ollie Smith, we talk about closing the gate,
just get closer.
You'll have your fullback working in tandem
close.
with the blindside wingers. He's going to take the last man there. It's a timing decision from him. When do I come up? When is the last moment where I can come up and cover any kicks through? You can't cover both, obviously. So he comes up, James Lang spots that, he puts it through, then Ollie Smith has to turn and go. Gets barreled over, so nice piece of play by James Lang there.
Bind!
Prime position
Set.
for Edinburgh to make another assault on the Glasgow Warriors line. Scrum holds firm, the ball comes out, and the go-to man is Duhan van der Merwe. Does he get it down? It is held up. Superb defence once again from the Glasgow Warriors.
Four of them. 4 defenders.
Tom.
That's why we hardly saw him last week. And this is, the timing is actually slightly clunky, but because he's so big and strong, you got essentially a bull running at a 9. Cancellieri does really well to say, I've got to tie up ball here. I'm not going to stop him if I go low. Target the ball and wait for the cavalry to arrive. And that was not bad in the Homer Vailanu and some of his pals.
Yeah, Cancellieri, brilliant.
That takes it on the front foot and striding forward. It's Pyrgos. He delivers it out to Sam Skinner, back after that injury picked up against Australia with the national team. There's Lang. Pyrgos doesn't quite find the fingertips of Duhan van der Merwe, but here goes Mark Bennett.
He's tripped over Glasgow play.
Pyrgos to Kinghorne, and another little dab through to test Ollie Smith.
Mike will look.
There's a few Edinburgh players questioning the tackle on Sam Skinner. The referee explaining the TMO's always going to look, so he'll see it. This is a great tackle by Fraser Brown, as it was. Interesting, we're seeing Edinburgh that Gareth Baber talked about there, the territory battle. We saw James Lang putting it through. We saw another kick through there by Blake Kinghorn, just turning Glasgow, putting pressure on, making them exit.
Right play? Yeah, play. TMO's had no replays, so
confirmation that Sordoni is back on in place of Bergen.
Time on.
Fraser Brown, a real veteran of these encounters. It's Tom Cruise, who made his 1872 Cup debut at Scotstoun last week. Finds Skinner with an accurate dart.
You're backing off.
Here's Mata.
Not now, two. Second man.
And Sione Kilimafoni of the Scarlets has had more carries than Bill Mata in the URC. Taken by Smith, but the ball goes loose under the challenge of
back,
Harry Patterson. It's Vailanu.
Use.
You do wonder how many more times Glasgow will kick to Bill Mata with a decent run up.
Well, there's one more, but Mata certainly didn't get his take sorted out. And
you knocked into 14, so it's two knock-ons.
Yeah, first mistake from him.
I thought Edinburgh formed the
commentator's curse maybe, but he's seen a lot of the ball, hasn't he? It's a better kick by Price. It's in that middle area, isn't it? Indecisive. Does Bill Mata come forward? Duhan van der Merwe coming back.
Really good police him again.
Yeah, Bill, we saw almost two different Bill Matas last week. The first half was uncharacteristic from a couple of drops. Some good carries, a lot of industry. The second half we saw for 20 minutes was a fairly revved up version of himself, and we've seen it carry on this evening, certainly in the first 22 minutes of this game. Just as a whole, I think Glasgow will be pretty happy. They've survived that onslaught, Jim. They've got the ball back. They've had 2 or 3 kicks under their post.
Up we get, lads.
And they've exited.
Right, so Edinburgh on your ball.
And they've got the upper hand in the scrum, even off the back of the last scrum.
Let's get back to that same standard.
Duhan van der Merwe ended up getting held up.
Right, please. Closer.
Jamie Batty's side was putting a lot of pressure on WP now.
Good there, now don't
especially around this halfway line. You get your scrum right. You scrum for a penalty.
Crouch.
It's 3 defeats in a row in the URC for Edinburgh. Benetton, Munster, and last week at Scotstoun.
Set.
One on home turf in this competition since the home game against the Leone in mid-October. But look at that, that is a show of dominance and power from the Edinburgh pack. Driving Glasgow off their own ball. It follows with a penalty, and that could be a significant moment.
Oh, that's massive. That is massive in the grand scheme of things. Just mentioning before that scrum, under all sorts of pressure in the mind of the referee as well, that Glasgow were on top. That's Glasgow's ball. They literally run over the top of the ball. Tight, body position's great. You just get a better view of it here. You just see the legs pumping. Look at WP now on this side, but you can see all 5, all 8 joined together. And then you look how quickly the pressure can turn. It's a good kick as well by Kinghorn.
That'll be a mark.
Everyone always talks about that middle third, Jim. That middle third battle. Why is it so important? That's exactly, you spoke about there. If Glasgow got a penalty there, they end up with an attacking line out. You flip on his head, it's there put in. Edinburgh end up with the penalty, and now they've got an attacking line out. You'd assume a maul or a peel of some sort, 10 metres from the Glasgow line.
Skinner with the take. Edinburgh can be lethal from these lineouts. It's the start of so many of the tries that they score. There's a penalty coming as Cruz is illegally infringed upon. Now Kinghorn with Buffelli underneath it. It's a battle for the skies, and Ollie Smith does his job, but it will be another penalty.
Yeah, needless penalty for Glasgow. And Jay-Z, I think, came round the side and played Tom Cruise on the ball. They actually did a really good job initially in stopping
from number 4.
The Edinburgh line-out drive that you referenced there, Rory. Really good drive. They get good yardage out of it, and they score a lot of tries. So I'm sure exactly what they're doing now, going back to it. You see really good position. They managed to get round the corner, Edinburgh, but they're not really going anywhere.
Yeah,
Fraser Brown puts his weight in. It's just on this far side. I suppose they are moving slightly. You see Manjesi, you're going to see his right arm just there. Just slip onto Tom Cruise. It just affects that delivery. An easy penalty.
56% of Edinburgh's tries originate from situations just like this. And there is a breakaway and going for the line. And it has been scored. And Luke Crosby celebrates, and what a turnaround for Edinburgh. And just like that, Glasgow Warriors' lead has evaporated.
And it was coming. I think it's been coming for a while. We thought Glasgow had managed to absorb the pressure. It's all forward dominance. They seem to have the upper hand this week. The scrum penalty leads to this, which led to another kick to the corner. They're organised, they're in great positions. They've called it, so they've got the big men at the front. The ballast, you see VP now, Bowen Fencer, Bill Mather, the big man acting as ballast. And then a good decision actually by Luke Crosby to peel off the back. You peel off there, you have to score.
Yeah, Luke Crosby will get the plaudits. His name goes down as the try scorer, but Bowen Fencer, you mentioned it there, mate, at the front of that driving line out, head down in a really difficult, tough position. Just spins round the back of him. And Edinburgh scorer all familiar, Maul try.
So Emiliano Buffelli looks to add a conversion and extend Edinburgh, who now lead in the battle for the 1872 Cup. Buffelli from wide. The crowd tell you as the cheer goes up. It's a 10-point lead on the night. 4 points in the battle for silverware tonight.
All from that scrum. Like John mentioned, just let's have a look at this line-out drive again. Sam Skinner, brilliant option, isn't he? This hybrid second row, back row, athletic jumper. Glasgow stay down, initially do a decent job, but I mentioned the work of Bowen Fencer and the rest of the pack at the front of that driving line-out.
Not now, 6.
And now it's to Franco Smith and the Glasgow Warriors, who will look to respond. It's been a free scoring start to this week's game. Really intriguing.
It's another good kick by Henry Purgos. He'd be disappointed there was no one under that.
There's Sordoni, finds Jordan, and Gray out to Tui Pelotu, and there's so many dangerous runners in that Glasgow line. One of them, Sebastian Cancellieri, but he is held up as James Lang manages to halt him. Ball squirts loose.
Ball was stripped by
Ali Price just gone out of play.
So it was stripped out, so it wasn't knocked on. Stripped. Blue ball.
Yeah, I think Cancellieri had his time again. He wouldn't have picked this ball up. He gets stripped, goes to a blind alley. And Jack Dempsey goes again. Mark Bennett was involved in a few big tackles there. 1 on 2, Pelotu. Another one there. You see that man's revved up today. New contract. He's excited.
4. Don't get involved with silly stuff. I said the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think Blair Kinghorn's quite right.
Hold each other, but just don't.
Say that I saw him being sick, but it doesn't look at all good.
I mentioned previously it was his back that was giving him problems. Mike Blair does have Charlie Savala on the bench, who started the game last week. Kinghorn, such an important player. He's the playmaker in that 10 role.
Yeah.
Well, he just said it then. I just picked it up on the ref mic. He said he's a bit ill. That's what he said.
Go.
So
Your front man's
not
good,
ideal,
lads.
is it? Nothing worse, John, is there? It's not just his Christmas dinner. If you're being sick on the pitch,
Edinburgh, come
poorly,
in, please. Wait.
you're under huge amounts of stress.
Lads, come in.
The ref was like, "You okay? Just a bit ill, mate."
A bit under the weather.
Gilchrist onto Fenter.
Another good tackle by Fraser Brown there. Took his legs away.
Mata feeds it out to Buffelli, and the kick over the top will go out on the full.
Watch in.
It's definitely a shift in mindset here. When they're getting on the edges, we saw them play down so many blindsides last weekend with little reward. But
on the end of that line,
you see a good play. The fairly be disappointed, but the idea, the thinking is often put the ball in behind. Let's turn Glasgow, and that's worked so far. But can often become quite contagious for a team. You end up overdoing it. I probably would have liked to see Fairley keep ball in hand there, exert some continued pressure on this Glasgow line.
17 unanswered points against Franco Smith's side. McDowell, Tuipulotu takes the step inside, somehow finds a gap. He needs some support. Well, maybe not. What a run from Sione Tuipulotu. Now Ali Price to keep it going, takes aim at the corner and bounces that one into touch, and the play goes from one end to the other, and it was all sparked by Sione Tuipulotu.
I actually thought they were playing quite deep and behind the game. And there's one tackle break, takes Mark Bennett out of the game, takes Henry Purgus out of the game, takes Crosby out of the game. I mean,
he's just looking to sit people down. He's not even looking for space. He's like, where are you?
Yeah, stay there and do it.
Point of difference without stating the obvious.
Point of difference, and also decision making there. We're playing too deep. Edinburgh aren't, that play there is designed to bring, when Edinburgh bring line speed on you. Right there, Edinburgh were sitting back, letting the play evolve. So actually, someone's got to straighten the line at that point.
Purgos, so much hang time for those kicks, gives the chasers the opportunity, but enough space for Kyle Stain to try and work his magic. He's already scored once. Sione Vailanu. Glasgow have been starved of possession since their opening flurry. Stafford McDowell now. Ali Price to Matt Fagerson. Skips over the first tackle. Now Jamie Ritchie sees it as an opportunity to try and steal, but it's advantage for the Warriors here. Ollie Smith. Price, it's the bouncing ball for Fraser Brown, and Sam Grove White with a loud blast.
Allowed you on that. There we go.
Yeah, it was Jamie Ritchie on ball, but I think it was for Luke Crosby not rolling away, and that's what you get when you've got such
7
powerful
not rolling, allow 6 to slow.
runners in your team who can make gain line. You don't make them dominant tackles. You get caught up in around the breakdown. They're easy penalties now, aren't they, for the referees to give?
Interesting. Very interesting.
I saw as well, John, Jamie Ritchie 4 penalties last week against him. I know it's not this one there. It's like a poor tackle, isn't it? Both Brian Venter in terms of being high. It's a tough tackle.
Yeah,
it's not against Jamie Ritchie.
You'll have a rest, but
I'd say almost every single time you see a not rolling away penalty be a high tackler. Someone who's tried to wrap the ball up, and then you get clearers coming in from all directions, and you just end up quite often jammed in the ruck. And like you say, Jim, it's a pretty easy penalty for a referee to give now, and it's certainly exacerbated when you get a jackler who comes in over the top.
Stay out, 9. Stay out.
Glasgow turning down the opportunity for 3 points from in front of the post, backing themselves to get more and halt this run of points from Edinburgh, and it breaks off through them all. There's advantage coming to Glasgow Warriors, sensing their moment to hit back, and Edinburgh get their hands on it.
Entry by 2 first.
So we go back for the penalty.
He said Bill Matter was legal. I thought he was lying down.
I'm a bit surprised he's not even thought about a yellow, because Glasgow are in really strong shape here. They do well to weather the storm, and then when it peels off there, you found that they're in good shape here.
Didn't enter from the back foot.
They've got 5 Glasgow players against 1, and they pull it down here.
You get lost at the back.
You see Tom Cruise there. Putting it down, he's got away with one there. I agree with you.
Yeah, ready here, Alf.
They look very strong in that maul, Glasgow. They get another chance now.
Brown goes to the front. And it's well set up for the Warriors here. I think it's with Matt Fagerson, and they get the man over, and the try is scored. And emerging from the bodies with the ball in hand, I'm not quite sure yet, but the crucial thing is Glasgow Warriors back themselves, and they come away with the try.
They've used that exactly. Look at it, Stafford McDowell jumps. They use Stafford McDowell. They've used this previously in the year. They use him, pop it down to say they've got big men. If you do a shift drive, you lose the big men. So actually to use He's pretty tall. Interviewing him pre-game, he's about 6'5". Use him, almost get him out the way. It frees up the rest of your forwards to then be part of that shift maul.
You get that right, it's almost impossible to defend. You mentioned, well, Richie Gray coming around that corner as well. The maul's set up on him. You just look at the body position of the Glasgow players then.
All clear, Sam.
Thanks.
It's Matt Fagerson that's the man that has got the ball over the line.
You look at the players they're up against. Again, that's why it's so smart. You're up against, it was Henry Pyrgos, it might have been Harry Patterson. You've got huge men who also aren't used to defending mauls, Jim. You used to love that. I don't think they've done it too many times. It's a really smart piece of play. It's definitely not as simple as a look. There's a lot of thought and creativity that's gone into producing that play.
Well, Glasgow Warriors back to within 5 thanks to that score from Matt Fagerson. 3rd of the season, and crucially they lead once again in the battle for the 1872 Cup by a single point. Of course, aggregate score again as we're in the 2-match series.
Use it.
Incidentally, if it does end with a 6-point victory to Edinburgh and the scores would be tied on aggregate, they would retain the cup, having won it last year by overturning a 13-point deficit from the first game.
I'm happy we stand, but when you put your arm across as well,
festive derbies last year, played in March and May.
That's another box kick. Edinburgh have struggled there. Just really good by Ali Price. Under no pressure then.
Cruz finds Ritchie.
8, stop, 8.
And now Kinghorn. There's Smith, just outside his 22, now has to retreat to find some space. Fagerson, Glasgow's second try scorer. Sordoni. And now Price. In the final 3 minutes of the half, Kinghorn takes. And Stain straight onto him, making sure he can't weave any of his magic. That one has been held up, so it will be an Edinburgh put in.
Yeah, because it's a held up maul from the kick. The attacking team keep the ball. Another really good kick by Ali Price. Good take by Blair Kinghorn. And again, just the tackle selection from Glasgow, looking to hold up the player. Carl Stain that time, that you can see he's not even thinking about putting into the floor. He's trying to drag him into touch. Leilanu as well, and Fraser Brown, 2 of the strongest guys on the pitch.
Same as the one down there, please.
Interestingly, I think Jamie Batty said I didn't know that rule.
So mate, you just bend over and push. Every day. Just bend over and push, mate.
I'll go this way.
Well, they changed it, didn't they, recently? Why do you keep changing them? John's looking at me.
They didn't change that rule.
No, they did, I reckon, 2 or 3 years ago.
Definitely, Jim. That's always been that rule.
Along with Jamie then. Didn't know that.
Set!
Pyrgos with the quick pick-up from the base. Lang. Big tackle, look to take man and ball. It pops up for Blair Kinghorn. Now Pyrgos with the outside of his right boot. Back goes Ollie Smith to tap down. It will be a goal line dropout.
Do you think Edinburgh are overdoing this?
I think they're worried about Glasgow's defence, how physical they were last week, and this white line that they're getting in front of them.
But you look at the starter play. James Lang does almost everything he can there in the starter play to get up, pull that ball back late, so they make a good dent. The pressure is then on Glasgow's defence. It'd be really interesting to hear Mike Blair's thoughts. There's another one from Bill Math. That's very unusual, but I'd love to see them exert that pressure. You almost don't want to play too much when you've got slow ball. When you've created quick ball, the opportunity there is to really impress and put further pressure on that defence.
We spoke about it before, Rory, sorry mate, just about the confidence, not specifically that man in screen, Bill Matter, he's been brilliant apart from the 2 drops that he's had. But you've got to be confident, haven't you, to be attacking with the ball, putting the ball into the wider channels. We know Edinburgh's star player, Darcy Graham's injured, who's carved up the league every time that he's played. But surely the kick-in has been a clear tactic of turning this Glasgow defence.
You've got to think as well, maybe at half-time, from a Glasgow point of view, they'll be thinking, the wingers think we've got to sit a bit deeper. Ollie Smith's talking to us, I need you to hold off a little bit. So from Edinburgh, maybe the opportunity in the second half when they get into these channels is then they've created the right and earned that right to actually play in those wide channels now.
Yes, play.
Price encouraged to play. Tui Pelotu, and was just too far in front of Jordan, who tried to collect it one-handed. We're now into red time at the end of this first half.
More, but
yeah, this could be big as well in terms of the position and how the scrum's doing. You just see that pull-back play. Sione Tuipulotu takes the ball right to the line, doesn't he?
Two good ones now, so you can do it. That's two good ones there, so let's keep that.
He's been brilliant this half, though. I mean, just get the ball in his hands. You see what he's trying to do there, and that's why I think he's so good, is that it didn't happen on that occasion, but he has the skills, he has the vision. We saw him kicking a bit more last week. His decision-making defensively is superb. He's become a really important part, not only of the Glasgow team, but also of Scotland. He'd be one of the first names on the team sheet.
Yeah. We mentioned Hugh Jones.
Give me
brilliant.
More shoulder, please. You're tucking it more
in the Challenge Cup weeks, and then rested last week. I'm not sure if he's got a knock. You know, stuffing it down, looking at him and Sione Tuipulotu again. But you've got great options there.
He's not listed as injured.
Okay.
Right out, good.
Should have done your research, Jim.
Oh.
Crouch.
So final play
Bind.
of the half.
Set.
Good hit by Edinburgh there. Going forward.
Now it's moving. Mata has control. Penalty is awarded.
Angle loose.
And a chance does emerge for further points at the end of this half.
We'll watch it again. It's about the angle of Jamie Batty. Yeah, you can see he just comes in, doesn't he?
Target follows.
And it just splinters off. Nothing really in it, but Edinburgh just slightly got the edge in the last couple of scrums, which is massive in the context of the game. We saw Edinburgh
keep the shoulder out enough
against Saracens, had to change De Bruyne very early on down at Saracens and change up their scrum because they were getting pinged off the park. You're thinking the first few scrums, could it happen again today? But no, they've managed to pull it back, and it's been a huge weapon for them, especially if Buffelli takes these through.
Well, in the aggregate score, Glasgow Warriors have a slender 1-point lead. But this would put Edinburgh back in front and increase their lead on the night to beyond a score. Emiliano Buffelli, a strike of the right boot. The flags go up. He does just that. It's an 8-point lead for Edinburgh at the end of the first half. And what a half of rugby that has been at the break at BT Murrayfield. It's Edinburgh Rugby 20, Glasgow Warriors 12. As you were from the start. And it will be Blair Kinghorn to restart this second half. Edinburgh with an 8-point advantage on the night, 2-point advantage on the aggregate scoreline for the bragging rights of holding the 1872 Cup.
Right, leave it now, Pierre.
Here's Sione Tuipulotu. And now Sebastian Cancellieri bounces off one tackle, then finds the shoulder of Luke Crosby. Now Ali Price. It's well taken by Buffelli. Down goes Pyrgos. It's there for Vailanu to come around to pick up and find Kyle Stain. Productive exit from the Warriors. Now Bean, his first carry.
That had to go.
Back it off.
Glasgow had a full back line against two Edinburgh defenders there.
Tuipulotu, Jordan and Smith to Cancellieri, utilising the space brilliantly, the Argentinian. Batty, Tuipulotu again,
Backwards.
And a tap comes from Fraser Brown into the hands of Stafford McDowell.
Leave it, leave it, leave it.
Yeah, when they get going, they're slick, aren't they, Glasgow?
Yeah, he's trapped them.
Get a bit of quick ball into the wide channels. As it slows, the only option you feel is a kick, but they do look good at times.
They missed an opportunity again on that phase back. Buffelli did a good job to almost present that picture he was there, but they're missing the odd chance to play into that width there, run into it.
Richie Gray went through a power of work a week ago. A key man in that Glasgow pack, but it's an Edinburgh penalty this time.
It's a lifting clear out of the breakdown, though. Got the number, Mike. Thanks. Lifting clear out.
Got a feeling it was Fraser Brown given by the
George can sort
afters,
that.
which you couldn't see on camera between Jamie Ritchie and
we'll go to touch.
Fraser
You
Brown.
go that way and get the sort. We won't go without you. On you go.
Offbeat the breakdown if I had to keep talking to you.
Yeah.
Is it open for?
You can see there.
If they're off the feet.
Fraser
Just
Brown,
if I say no, come off.
I'll come off.
Yeah. I won't explain why, but I'll tell you after.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with them. Sometimes the yellow card can come out. There wasn't a huge amount of force, but when you pick a player up over the horizontal or rotate him round, Bealani was involved as well. Number 7.
Yeah, it's blood over there. It's blood. I let him do it. It is blood. Try to do it quickly. Stay there, on your front man. We'll get them in.
There's the music in play. I don't know if you can hear that on commentary.
Time is on.
There it is. It's the beat.
Time's on.
They can't see you're dancing though.
Don't they want to?
I'm a pretty decent dancer. I've just taught myself up about everything. Slow,
I'm a
stiff.
pretty good dancer, my word.
I can feel
I've heard
the
it
beat.
all now.
Cruz to Skinner.
Makes a big
Ritchie.
difference, doesn't he? Skinner in the second row.
Nicely into the hands of Buffelli. Gets the pass away to Bennett too. Edinburgh charging forward once again, and it's Crosby into Tui Pelotu. Clash of power. Jamie Ritchie.
Isolated.
One side.
Presented well though. Mata.
Off now, off now.
Slow for Pyrgos. Crosby into the tackle of Fraser Brown. And it's Glasgow who celebrate the decision this time.
They actually could have got the penalty the one before. And I often think that's sometimes in the referee's head. They got a split second to make a decision. The previous
Yeah,
ruck,
I'll deal with it.
Matt Ferguson would look at that and think 9 times out of 10 I'm going to get a holding on penalty here.
Away you go.
Next ruck, Fraser Brown in the same position and gets the holding on penalty.
I don't want to see players pushing other players. I'll reverse it next time.
I think that's
Yes.
why we're seeing Edinburgh kick
No.
the ball more. I know we're in a completely different part of the field here, but you just look at the white wall of defenders, the amount of players
Are you
on their
gonna go for it
feet.
here? No.
Just it's impossible, really. And there you've got someone like Fraser Brown, one of the best in the business over ball. Doesn't matter how physical you want to be in that area. If he gets half a second, he's going to turn you over. Edinburgh needs to be more clinical there.
Unlike.
Fraser Brown's been everywhere.
Good rolling
It's a
down
fine
there.
clearance kick as well that takes Glasgow to almost halfway. Just a foot or so inside their own half, with the line out to come. And Lewis Bean, it was straight to him, but they couldn't hold on, and it's Edinburgh's ball. Crosby.
Advantage over.
Pyrgos back to
Stop in
Kinghorn.
front,
Advantage is
Wait.
over, so
Yep.
Kinghorn sends one high. Taken by Smith, but then he's driven backwards, and the Glasgow forwards have to rally. Here comes Richie Gray, such a handy go-to man to buy yourself time. Likewise, Jack Dempsey.
Really impressed by Blair Kinghorn's aerial skills this evening. Just putting the ball right on the money every time, and his decision making about when to do it. Putting that ball in the air, trying to get Buffelli in the game, chasing the ball.
It's play on, he's
Therefore,
falling.
Patterson.
Scrum advantage only.
Kinghorn
Advantage over.
might look to spread this, or instead Duhan van der Merwe thinking about a charge for glory.
Ritchie back to basics. Here's Bennett. There's a groan went around BT Murrayfield.
It's Fraser Brown. There's a nasty injury in the backfield. I hope it's not too bad, but
Back.
Pyrgos chips one for Duhan van der Merwe. He is into touch.
yeah, sorry,
went
Rory.
backwards.
Scary that when you hear someone yelp like that, and sometimes it's out of fear. You're not going to see
No
it on
quits.
this face. Because we're just watching that play unfold, but Fraser Brown put a massive tackle on Duhan van der Merwe, and then back into the defensive line on this tackle, and Jamie Ritchie bounces back up. Just see that, oh gosh, very lucky boy. Sam Skinner with that rotation of a clear out, which we've seen so many nasty injuries happen.
Cal, can I ask you to go back?
Just to be clear, that what Sam Skinner's done there at the moment is perfectly legal. But that's the exact reason why people people on social media, ex-players, players, people who jackal the ball certainly are keen for that rule to be removed, or make it illegal to be able to crop roll players, grab them by the shoulders, grab them by the torso, twist them, because you end up twisting over your knee. And we saw Rory Darge with a terrible injury playing for Glasgow against Cardiff early in the year, just precisely from that.
It's Edinburgh's ball. Gilchrist managed to pick it up at the lineup. But you know, that's something that you've sat up here in the gantry for a couple of years and mentioned the danger, and ex-players do not like that rule hasn't been outlawed yet. Why do you think, despite the damage that it does seem to be causing, it hasn't been something that's brought into the laws?
I think they're trying to tweak the laws all the time. We'll see it again
Let's
here.
get to that good standard where we're at.
Sam Skinner arrives arguably late. If you get there late, I think they probably haven't outlawed it yet, because I think we'll continue to see it in the game. The speed of the collision and the quality of jacklers across the board now means that you get that now. Coaches are coaching players, you've got to get rid of jacklers. So if you miss the race in height, he gets under you. All you have at that opportunity there is to twist him. And the danger actually isn't to twist him, it's when you twist and get your feet stuck, and then someone comes in into your side, into your ribs, and your feet are completely jammed. That's when you see these bad lower leg injuries.
Yeah, I was with Dan Levy a few weeks ago, and if you remember Dan Levy, the 7 for Leinster and Ireland, up and coming, phenomenal player, career ended in a similar position with the crop. Well, we mentioned Rory Darge there. You could go over a number of different injuries, and you say, as ex-players, I want to see that gone. I don't like it at all. No slight on Sam Skinner. He's just trying to remove the man in any legal way, and at the minute it is legal, but it's a horrible when you see players pick up them nasty injuries.
Dempsey with a strong carry up to the 22. Was a little isolated, but Price is there to deliver that back to Tom Jordan. Harry Patterson. Maybe a chance for him to show exactly what he can do, and he's done really well. Strong running from the young fullback. Gilchrist now. Pyrgos delivers, but Crosby takes his eye off it. And they're just fighting for supremacy in the first points of this second half, which haven't arrived yet.
Nice job.
It's a good counter by Harry Patterson. A bit of a nothing carry, actually, but just manages to find arguably some lazy tackles, some lazy arms from Glasgow. Gets the leg drive, the cavalry arrive. Then we see Edinburgh just going up the blind side. At this point, you've got to think the guys who have just carried are getting up from that ruck, on both sides, arguably. But you almost end up, if they win that ball, with the exact same picture they had the ruck before.
Well, you'll hear the noise going around BT Murrayfield, which they're not boos, they're to celebrate the soon-to-be introduction of Pierre Scruman off the bench.
I thought someone lost a shoe for a second. I was like, where? And I saw him.
Glasgow Warriors have the penalty at scrum time.
3 working early and overextending.
It's a great contest at scrum, isn't it? WP now giving away the penalty that time on the far side of the picture.
Early pressure overextended.
Early pressure overextending is what Sam Grove White is saying. So difficult to manage, isn't it? They are doing the best. Just bumped into JP Doyle by the coffee machine,
too early for me.
who is helping with the referees, of course, here in Scotland.
Mark's here.
First changes will be coming from the bench for Glasgow Warriors, as Pierre Schumann actually has already entered the fray. George Turner and Simon Bergen.
Yeah. Open.
We'll have to wait for
Right, I'll
this
give you a
line
mark.
out.
So Mark's going to be here, so step.
So
Don't be an issue.
replaces Boan Fenter. Brown. And nicely done by Fagerson at the back. And here goes Vailanu in midfield. Terrifying sight as the Tongan crashes into another tackle.
Tackle! Back.
Here's Fraser Brown.
He's going for the ball.
First tackle coming in from Pierre Schumann. Now Sordoni and Stephen McDowell.
9.
Mark Fagerson, and the chip through goes out on the full.
Yeah.
Edinburgh defending much better this week, being a bit more aggressive.
2, 3.
The line's been and around the ball. I think Glasgow, because of that, just playing that bit deep, playing behind the defence, you end up, if that kick goes in, it's a good kick, but I definitely feel like Edinburgh are the dominant side without the ball right now. We're not seeing a huge amount of, you know, Vailanu. How much did he carry last week? Not seeing a huge amount of Tuipulotu in the second half.
So changes made in the front row as Fraser Brown and Lucio Sordoni head off. This is Kyle Stain. Price to Vailanu.
Thank you.
Now McDowell and Jordan. Oh, sees a mismatch. What a fend that was. And Jordan onto Cancellieri, but Boffelli does enough to halt what looked like a certain score for the Glasgow Warriors.
And that is why Fenn is such an underrated, or under-talked about piece of skill. Look at Tom Jordan here. Look at the strength. Takes Mark Bennett off his feet with the stiff arm here. Boffelli does very well here. Tom Jordan maybe could have gone himself, but Johan van der Merwe is behind, but Boffelli does just enough to get that ball out of Cancellieri's hands. That's a superb piece of play by Tom Jordan there.
You've got a good shoulder, let's go. Just no early work.
No early work. Crowd that Tom Jordan has played in front of.
We good?
Old school, isn't it? A handoff. An old school handoff. Never did one. Got caught on a few, but I do enjoy seeing it.
Yeah, one straight to the face.
Mark Bennett won't have enjoyed that one.
Set.
Some power in that.
Good contest at the scrum, and the decision goes Edinburgh's way.
Right decision. Well, I thought it was against Bergen on the tight head side.
Back we go, lads.
For Glasgow. First bit of cuddling we've had.
Yeah, it was Simon Bergen. He actually almost managed to get back into shape there.
Yeah.
But Pierre Schumann did a number on him there, I think. We'll see
So
it from
the
this side. You see that a real good wrestle going on. And just there, the shove comes on,
then
and he walks round the side of Schumann. Jamie Ritchie celebrates quite a lot. Some bum slaps going on, belly slaps.
Good contest at the scrum though, isn't it?
So I had a
really
warning
difficult
about
area to manage.
After penalty, so listen, but you screamed in his face and we can't have that. So if it happens, it's the same as them, I'll reverse the penalty.
Work to do for Franco Smith, but they have won here in their run of 4 victories, that coming against Perpignan. 3 of them coming away from Scotstoun, impressively. Up goes Richie Gray to tap that one back, and Turner meets Bill Mata. Here's McDowell.
Tackle.
Bergen.
Here we go.
Yeah, they're on.
Jordan to Gray, and now Vailanu finds a hole. Cancellieri gets it into his hands, and Jordan will go under the post for the Glasgow Warriors. Oh, it's game on again, and that was a wonderfully crafted score. Glasgow Warriors at their flowing best.
Was there a slight forward pass in there? I don't want to steal the energy.
Why, Jim? Why?
I know, I'm sorry. I don't know whether they'll look at it.
I'll tell you what, there was a lot in that passing. We saw Bill Mata put George Turner almost, here we see here, look at this. George Turner,
him. Gosh.
big old collision. We said we haven't seen much of Vailanu. Since I've said that, he's been heavily involved. Glasgow come back, it's a three-phase move, 21 play, everyone doing their jobs right, ball out the back, decision making there, Richie Gray, soft hands, Vailanu straightens the line. This is unbelievable here.
That pass there, sorry John.
Nah, I'll give it, go on then, just give it, it's Christmas.
Do you agree, Mike?
Yeah, all clear.
Oh, clear.
It's cleared it.
There we go, kick the ball quickly.
Pass is good, Gemmo's check.
I have stolen the life out of that try. Apologies, John Barkley.
Grinch.
I know.
Well, the crowd don't like it, but the try is given. It's converted by Tom Jordan. We're back to a 1-point game.
What a fantastic score that was. Against the run of play, really, when you think about it. This man, Sione Vailanu.
Don't walk off the line like that.
Those two passes there, the pass from Vailanu to Cancellieri, and then the work of Tom Jordan. Don't forget, he was in the back of that. A few passes before. Get back on that tracking line, get back inside. It's a really good try.
What a find Vailanu's been.
And that's the end of Bill Mata's evening as Connor Boyle, try scorer last week, comes on to replace him. He put in so much effort, did Boyle last week, 14 tackles, more than anyone else.
Yeah, it's on the line, please.
Top carrier as well.
On the line, Glasgow.
For Connor Boyle. So we know the damage that he can do off the bench, fresh legs for Edinburgh, but to lose Bill Mata will be big as well. Gilchrist. And Pyrgos has to scramble for space.
Use.
Schumann.
Thank you.
There's
16.
Nell delivers the pass out to Kinghorn. Now Crosby.
Tackle now.
Glasgow Warriors thinking they've got it their way. The ball does come out on their side. Now McDowell. Warriors in full flow once again. Picking up is Ollie Smith. And they like that broken field. And some of their magicians can do their most deadly work. Jordan. Out from Richie.
No.
Great.
You're off feet.
They're on as well, on the edge. For Glasgow on the left.
Hands off.
It's not getting out there quickly enough. Turner.
No, 6.
Jordan. So test out Buffelli with the kick. Cancellieri up on his countryman. But Buffelli does well.
Use it.
Now Edinburgh will look to clear their lines from the 22. It's with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, they want rid here, especially with the 1 point in the game now. And Pyrgos will put to ball and just try and regroup. Glasgow have just turned the score, haven't they, in the last 5 minutes.
Clear it goes from Pyrgos. Not the cleanest of takes, but Warriors do continue with the ball, and here's McDowell, throws the dummy, now straightens Price, and here's Batty. This is a great spell for Glasgow. Price, Stain now.
There's some tired bodies out there. This is a big, if Glasgow can regroup and find some shape in their attack here, find the mismatches, there'll be opportunities here.
Price to Vailanu. A lot of tired bodies out there, and That ball goes forward. It will be an Edinburgh scrum. What a passage of play.
All started with Matt Fagerson. We saw the holding up tackle. At that point, the referee calls, you've got to let him go. It's a tackle. Goes to grab Matt Fagerson. Gets on ball, jackal, and then we saw just about a bit of everything.
Yeah, that was Henry Purgos there on Ali Price.
Oh, sorry.
Just knocked his arm.
If you went to your knees,
as Ali Price picked the ball up.
Across the scrum, and that's what caused it to stand up.
Really
I'll be on
smart
your
bit
side
of play
this
by
time.
Purgos.
You're right.
And that was Ali Price's
Yep.
last bit of his play.
Yep.
I think this is the exact right time to bring that guy in picture on. The game's breaking up a bit. I think both teams will probably be trying to tighten up just that bit. But the opportunities there, is that open? That passage of play was screaming for someone like George Horne with that speed, that raw speed injection.
Yeah. We've got a new hooker keeper. Not too much weight.
Changes galore. Nathan Macbeth, JP Dupree and George Horne coming on for Glasgow, Patrick Harrison and Marshall Sykes on for Edinburgh.
Surprised by Richie Gray coming off there, Jim. I think his influence certainly in defending lineouts has grown. The last two Edinburgh lineouts, he's been up, pinched them.
Just give him space. Crouch!
Wayne's away!
Agree. Yeah, I agree with you, John. Yeah, sometimes substitutions are weird. You don't know whether they're managing minutes or he's been a revelation, has he, Richie Gray? Really good to see.
Ball's away, play.
Here comes Kinghorn. And now Bennett. Lovely pass that finds Van der Merwe. Such a dangerous runner, ball in one hand, skipping out of two tackles. Then finds JP Dupree.
Tackle now, release. Hands off, 6.
He just found more bodies effectively, I think.
Kinghorn again, big hit coming in
Forward.
on him.
Advantage.
It's Glasgow's ball with advantage from the knock-on. Dupree, the towering lock forward.
Advantage over.
Richie Gray, who he came on for. Now Tui Pelotu, did he find the shoulder there? He certainly did. And Blair Kinghorn gives away the penalty that it is extended an extra 10 metres as well.
The first penalty for the off the ball.
On a
the second
one-point
penalty
game
for
as
not an
well.
excellent penalty. The second one's for the chap.
Oh, I mean, it's marginal. It's marginally silly as well.
What's also obvious is
Well,
that
Pete Horne joins us now, Glasgow assistant coach. Thank you very much, Pete, because I know we had our technical difficulties last week. So this is a huge moments in these games, isn't it? How special a try was that just seems to have turned the momentum in your favour?
You know, it was good to get in there. No, it was a great score. The boys managed to hold on to the ball and we got a bit of sustained pressure, and we talked about that at half-time. If we can try and put 4 or 5 phases together, you know, there was a bit of space opening up. So no, it was great to see the boys get some reward for that.
Hey Pete, it's Jim, just talking of space opening up. Your brother's on now. Looking to see him do something around the breakdown as it's opening up now.
Yeah, definitely. Tired. You know, there's a wee bit of fatigue setting in, so it's great to get him on and hopefully exploit a little bit of space. The game's starting to break up, so yeah, fingers crossed it will be made for him.
Well, great stuff, Pete. Thank you very much for your time and good luck.
Cheers, guys.
Well, Glasgow lose the line out, but they do get the scrum.
All Glasgow at the minute.
First, then the knees go
Again,
to
the
ground.
tackle selection as well has been brilliant. And actually, you know, really suits the way
Ball first,
in
then
which
knees
Edinburgh
to ground,
play.
Scrum.
Again, that's what I was going to say. Again, that was Glasgow's line out, so it was a pinch. But just, you know, as someone like Duhan van der Merwe, you go low.
Yeah.
You're not going to do anything beneficial, but it's just that.
So
They call it a choke tackle. I don't like calling it that, but the high tackle for
he'll
the
get
maul.
higher, you get a better bind.
It was Tom Jordan that time as
I've got
well.
time off.
He's been brilliant.
I think sometimes there's a bit of security in and around, especially in tight exchanges.
Time's off.
Smaller men can get in, they can buy themselves
Third
time. We saw with
message.
Canceleo targeting the ball in the first half when Duhan van der Merwe was going for the try, but just get under that ball knowing there's a bit of
Yeah, I'll take
cavalry
a walk
around
break
you in
now,
those
lads.
tight exchanges. I think
What break?
it's about selecting the right tackle. Sometimes it's not on and you go high and you get fended or you get bumped, you lose momentum, but in those tight quarters it's a great technique.
Really impressed with the physicality of Glasgow. You know, it was interesting Rory, maybe it's because I don't read my notes well enough, like John referenced there, but the fact that they play in the wider channels, they've got this brilliant attack, but the change in the physicality. We mentioned Richie Gray, who's just come off out, you know, he's been a revelation under Franco Smith, and you look at some of the players they've got, like Tuipulotu, we mentioned Veolanu, Lowe's, Jack Dempsey, both sides of the ball. Been really impressed with Glasgow the last few weeks.
Scott Hastings, a legend of Scottish rugby and broadcasting, enjoying the game. His brother Gavin is here too.
It's good to see Scott up and about, isn't it? Looking well, taking the ball on.
Toddy's a sub on for
Duhan van der Merwe. Looks like he won't be able to continue here. It's a blow for Edinburgh and also for Gregor Townsend, who is hidden amongst the faces at BT Murrayfield ahead of the Six Nations opener against England. It's not too far away now.
So important, isn't he, for Edinburgh, Scotland. Darcy Graham as well, who's been unbelievable. Seen him injured as well. It looks like it's a HIA. He's going straight down the tunnel. He looks a bit groggy though.
Watch his knee.
So Charlie Savala's the man to come on, and of course the versatility of Blair Kinghorn means that he's more than capable of going on to the wing, but it does alter that area playmaker. Savala coming on to go into that role, the Sydney-born fly half.
Now scrum by Glasgow.
Horne out to McDowell, and of course the go-to man for the charge is Sione Tuipulotu. This time it's Dempsey who takes it further. George Horne, such a live wire. He's still going somehow. Edinburgh eventually get him down 5 metres from their own line, and how this game seems to have turned. Edinburgh still lead, but by that precious 1 point. Horne with the short delivery. Now he might look a little wider. Bergen with the risky pass that did find Vailanu. Glasgow Warriors charging in with numbers. Horne waits for his moment.
Hands off, 20!
And still just short. It was Stain this time. Glasgow have committed so many to the attack. Somehow that ball squeezes out and safely into the hands.
Right, onside now, onside.
Well, they need it. There's loads of space out on the left.
Well, there was a lazy runner there. That leads to a penalty, and it's going to be
19.
A yellow card as well.
You can't run through that channel, you're offside.
Marshall Sykes.
I had them going backwards. No clear.
Well, it could be a massive moment in this game. Marshall Sykes has just come on.
You see him there, counter rucks. Just as he stands up.
Shot called.
It's one of those ones, he's got to have a bit of awareness there where the ruck is. He's got to stand up, he's got to understand he cannot go in that channel there, but a couple of moments, Jamie Ritchie could have had 1 or 2 holding on penalties there. There's a couple really tight calls in and around the ball, but ultimately we had George Turner came on one monster clear out, realising you've got to win the ball. But all that play there, from the first start, we talked about, I don't want to bang on too much about Tuipulotu, but we've seen him in that playmaker role, that same shape they use with him as the distributor, but the option to carry there, just understanding we're 15 minutes to go, we need to win this game, it's 2019, just simple decision making and giving his team easy targets.
Well, George Horne off the bench and to take over the kicking duties. It's a pretty straightforward start for him, but it's a significant blow that he has dealt, because Glasgow Warriors lead once again on the night.
Yeah, just to piggyback what John's saying there, with, we've spoken about Tuipulotu all night, but when they get their good runners into the game, they get Dempsey, they get Richie Gray, they get Veolanu, they get this wave of powerful carries. They look so good in attack.
JP
No foul
Dupree, and
play.
it was an awkward landing for the big South African. There's Horne, he's not got much distance on that, so there's going to be a scramble of players. Does come back for Glasgow and out from Dupree. And Smith now with the step, and again, he's done well. Tuipulotu with the kick through. Stein on the chase. Oh, wonderful hands from Kyle Stein. It could be another one. It certainly is. It's George Horne. And in 150 years of this magnificent fixture, that is one of the classic tries. What a moment for Glasgow Warriors. What a try from George Horne. And how this game has been turned on its head by this second half performance from the Glasgow Warriors.
Wow, oh wow, we'll get to that man George Horne in a minute, but Sione Tuipulotu again, we've spoken about his carrying ability, the power game, his footwork, the way that he can create things, some of the standout performances, but out of nothing really. You see him there with ball in hand, he wants it quick, he just puts that little kick through, and it just sits up.
I mean, the cuteness of it is that he understands the winger's there. He understands the fullback has to close the gate now, but actually put that ball on the boot, has to bring the fullback up.
Behind the line, Mike, just let me know what you
It's just linking it. George Horne does this in his sleep. It's the cutest understanding of there's more than one way to exit. We don't always have to box it, but we make that decision there. I bet he wasn't thinking that initially, but I mean, that's a pinpoint kick. Kyle Stein does everything he can. The energy, the bravery to get on the end of that. The game has completely changed in the last 10 minutes.
I've never kicked a rugby ball in my life, but you can see that isn't a fluke how it's just sat up. That isn't the bounce of the ball. He has kicked that knowing full well where and how it's going to bounce up. World class.
Oh, it's a wonderful, wonderful score. Glasgow Warriors have scored 4. It's the bonus point that is secured. They have a 9-point lead on the night. Remember, they were 8 behind at half-time. What a second half it's been. They're well in control of the destination of the 1872 Cup as well, which they came in with that 6-point advantage. That's been extended to 15. And it's been all about this second half display. 17 unanswered points.
Same as the last one, please.
The quality of the tries has been very high as well. The interlinking, the decision-making, the delivery under pressure on the gain line. Gregor Townsend will be very happy with what you've seen from some of his key men, in particular in the Glasgow side, and in particular that man, Sione Tuipulotu. Everything good about Glasgow, he's been a big part of today.
Crouch!
9 points up, Glasgow. Edinburgh, Marshall Sykes in the bin.
Crouch! Bind!
George Horne with his hand on the ball. Scrum put in for Glasgow. I wonder if Edinburgh in 9 minutes can bring this back.
Here goes Vailanu. Another immense performance from the Tongan back row. JP Dupree.
Who's been a bit lucky there. Straight in the side on the clear out.
It's Cancellieri. Patterson clings on to a round of applause. He's got 3 men to contend with and clears really well. That's a fine kick.
Yeah,
but
got it.
Edinburgh, you have to say, look a little shell-shocked here.
It's not going to help they're a man down. There's a lot of debris lying around the pitch. A lot of guys with cramp. It's been a big old battle out there. There's been a lot of physicality, a lot of endeavour, high skill level.
He's been good as well, Patterson.
He's not a huge amount of ball, but what he's done, especially last week, he had a couple of errors last week, but the bones of his game were good, so he's seen a couple trickier takes today. He's done well, done everything he could. It's off this clear. We see number 20 here, a bit lucky on the clear. I mean, that's a blatant in the side. It's actually hurt James Lang.
Johnny.
He's been injured. Off the back of it, I think.
Is he okay?
Just he will be replaced by Cammy Hutchinson, who comes on for his first appearance of the season. Legends galore, Andy Irvine, John Jeffrey.
Right, in.
25,000 inside BT Murrayfield. John Jeffrey, of course, spoke so well in that emotional service to commemorate the life of Doddy Weir recently.
Right, 18 out.
Warriors in prime position once again. There's advantage coming, everything going their way. Here's Horne to Stain. He's done plenty of damage. That one has been ripped, but we will go back for the penalty to Glasgow.
Yeah, just energy sapping, isn't it? The line-out drive, just metre by metre, inch by inch, just sucking the life out of this Edinburgh team. Just see it's moving forward as well.
Did you take 3 here?
Right, what are we doing?
They don't know yet. They don't know. I'd take 3.
Yeah, we're going corner.
They want more.
They want more. They want the more. They can feel it. Well, man down for Edinburgh.
Posts.
No, but
oh no.
He's on the field.
There you go.
Yep.
So it's the right decision, John. 9 points up. They've got the bonus point. Nailing the coffin. No.
17 collapse.
You captain for Scotland, me vice captain. What are we doing? We're arguing. Whatever gave me the biggest rest, that's what I'd go for, which isn't a maul.
Which isn't a maul. I can almost see why they might have considered the corner, because you know they're 9 points up, 7 minutes to go. They're a man up as well, importantly. So they go to the maul. You just want to stay down here. The last thing you want potentially is to get kicked off to a knock on, you know, a loose ball in your own half, a hack through. So definitely merit if they can put it in the corner, keep the game played in exactly the right area. As it stands, that they've gone for the sticks. This will take it to, if my maths is right, 12-point lead, Jim.
If Veilanu gets it off the kick-off, they might score. Glasgow, that is.
That's also true.
So it's George Horne to run the clock down and to try to add the 3 points to Glasgow Warriors tally. He does just that and does create a 12-point advantage for his side.
So impressed with Glasgow. I know you were all over it last week, John, in terms of their performance, the best they've seen. And I think you said before, if they win today, the biggest win that they've had for a couple of years, did you say?
I think so. I think just away wins well. They've had Bath, they've had Zebra. They had to play Perpignan here, which essentially was an away game. Just what I spoke about there. They now have to exit. They now have to defend off the back of that kick.
Advantage over.
Charlie Shield on at scrum half and finds Pierre Scruman. Now Savala.
And Edinburgh down to 13 here. Grant Gilchrist is getting back up.
Connor Boyle smashed in the tackle by George Turner.
Stepping back.
Scruman.
He can tackle a man, George Turner, can't he?
He certainly can. Whether it's touch or contact of training, he's tackling. There's another one.
Scruman once more.
So hard, Edinburgh down a player just to find that structure. And Glasgow's defence has been strong all night. It was strong last week.
No, now Glasgow.
Really put their discipline as well. They've only given away 6 penalties in this entire game, and that's like you get pressure, line speed. Glasgow ball. Here we go.
Forward it went from Williams, and now it sets Glasgow on the counter-attack through Stafford McDowell. Horne, they decide to attack that short side.
No!
Vailanu. Here's Turner. He's made an impact off the bench. They have numbers out here. Jordan, Tui Pilotu, and the pass was poor to Cancellieri, but he picks up, finds space, finds a gap, hauled down eventually by Luke Crosby. But Glasgow, this entire second half, have just looked
Ball's there.
at a whole other level. Edinburgh stunned, and they don't have any answers for this performance from the Warriors.
I think Glasgow's contact skills have been superb as well. There's got to be a bit of credit there. They're built to hold on to ball. Edinburgh have got quality jacklers in their team. Jamie Rich, who's going through with that ability to keep the play alive.
Stain, the bounce of the ball just wouldn't go for him. 5 teams came into this weekend locked on 24 points, but Glasgow are going to emerge from BT Murrayfield with 5 in their back pocket.
Time off, yellow card return.
Yeah, just back to that point. You go through the Edinburgh team. Jamie Ritchie, one of the best in the business over ball. Pierre Schuman's handy there. They've got Connor
7
Boyle
and
on now.
15.
Luke Crosby's on.
7.
Some of the best jacklers in the league.
15 and 7.
I don't remember, maybe one holding on penalty. Their continuity and their breakdown skills have been brilliant.
We're good. Oh, looks good. Todd, are you happy? Yes. Right, Edinburgh, we'll go.
Domingo Miotti
Just wait.
enters
I'll
the
get them and
fray
then we'll get a gap.
for the final 3.5 minutes, and Sione Vailanu and Ollie Smith make way.
Oh.
Edinburgh go from deep through Buffelli.
That was 5.
Now picked up off the deck by Stafford McDowell. Bergen. Horne goes for the looping pass, but can only find the hands of Blair Kinghorn. 12-point gap, but Edinburgh suddenly haven't given up yet. Ritchie to Sykes. Shield, Schumann, Hutchison, Savala. Bennett did well to escape the attempted tackle.
It's a maul.
Matt Fagerson held him up again, I think.
No!
It's Edinburgh's advantage.
You came off the ball and you went back on it. You're right, it's a maul, but you came off and then on.
Surprised the amount of time Edinburgh are taking here.
See Matt Fagerson pushing out Kyle Stain there. Holds him up, him and Jack Dempsey.
Thanks.
Just as the ball goes to ground, there, Jack Dempsey then, still can't do that. You can lie there, but you can't move again if you're not over the ball.
On the line.
Well, Jim, who is your BKT player of the match?
Well, there's been some fantastic performances. Tom Jordan, I think, has been excellent. Kyle Stain as captain. But it's got to go to one of the Sionis, and it's that one, Tuipulotu. I think he has been absolutely outstanding again today. So Sione Tuipulotu is my BKT URC player of the match.
There goes Hutchison. Edinburgh perhaps just fighting for a losing bonus point. They have a penalty to come here. It was Sykes back on from his yellow card. Hutchison delivers the pass. Back we go for the penalty.
Right, leave it.
As we approach the final minute.
10 Glasgow not rolling.
The attendance just announced of 25,135 inside the National Stadium. And Buffelli takes aim at the corner, nails his kick perfectly to give Edinburgh a platform to go chasing what would be a losing bonus
lads,
point.
Don't close this gap, please. Don't close the gap.
Which could be huge in the context of the season. You spoke about how close the URC table is this season. They need this.
Taken by Gilchrist, it's an awkward one, does get it back to Harrison for the corner. Oh, it's a wonderful stretch from Patrick Harrison. And that might just get Edinburgh that point.
Well, they're going quick for the drop goal, I think. I'm not too sure they'll have enough time, but Glasgow initially off that maul did a really good job. But Grant Gilchrist managed to free his hands. Patrick Harrison, we've spoken about him before, how powerful he is in the loose. There he is on screen. Is there time to go again? It looks like there is. The ball boys just brought the ball up.
7-point game. The drop kick missed, but crucially done in enough time that it looks like we will continue for one last play. So but this isn't quite settled yet. The destination of the 1872 Cup is, it will be heading back down the M8. But Edinburgh are looking to do something spectacular to try and sneak a draw out of this game. Their first points of the second half coming there from that try from Patrick Harrison. And if they are to do it, they're going to have to go from their own 22. The knock-on is back in Glasgow's hands. The game is there. The cup is theirs too. It's the Glasgow Warriors who celebrate at BT Murrayfield. A festive double for Kyle Steyn and his men. And what a game it was. What a second half performance it was. 23 wise men have come to the East and delivered the greatest gift that their supporters could have asked for. The full-time score at BT Murrayfield: Edinburgh Rugby 25, Glasgow Warriors 32.